I'll admit it, it sounds ridiculous. How could a war from 80 years ago and a video game franchise today possibly be related? Well, a little bit of digging into historical information shows these two are closer than you might have first thought. Let's dive in. As a result of World War II, most countries around the world suffered severe economic and industrial destruction, but two would emerge as superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. The USSR did suffer mass casualties in an economic decline, but they were able to orchestrate an extremely swift recovery through German reparations, the mass importation of raw materials from Soviet-occupied European countries, and a shifting economic focus towards heavy industry. How did the United States fare so well after the end of World War II? Well, the country was spared almost completely from civilian and industrial devastation solely because of geography. It was separated entirely from the Eastern Hemisphere where the majority of the fighting was occurring thanks to the Atlantic Ocean, allowing the US to embark on an economic expansion unseen in human history. In the years after the end of World War II, relations between the US and USSR would sour. It became clear that the leader of the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin, was not exactly interested in world peace. He would reject various treaties, rig elections, and refuse to withdraw troops from countries such as Greece, Iran, and Turkey. President Truman would issue a famous speech known as the Truman Doctrine, in which he declared plans to halt the spread of the USSR's communist ideology throughout countries in the Eastern Hemisphere. This strategy of suppressing communism became known as containment. The United States was very serious about containment, even willing to strike deals with characters of questionable morality in the name of fighting communism. In late 1947, a nationwide strike among French factory workers would occur due to outrage over unjust actions taken by the French police department. The United States interpreted the strike as a prelude to a communist plot to overthrow the French government, and immediately acted to end it through whatever means necessary. The CIA provided weapons, financial support, and even legal protection in some cases to members of the Corsican Mafia, a drug smuggling group operating out of Marseille, France. Although the means in which they achieved it were immoral at best and completely illegal at worst, the Corsican Mafia was able to break up the strike and thwart the supposed communist coup. Although this would be interpreted as a victory against communism back in America, it would turn out that, unsurprisingly, heavily supporting a criminal organization would lead to far greater problems down the line. The political influence and financial benefits that the Corsican Mafia gained would allow them to vastly improve their drug smuggling operations, and before long they had established heroin laboratories in Marseille and were exporting tens of thousands of pounds of heroin to the United States. This operation would come to be known as the French Connection. In 1961, NYPD detectives broke up a significant heroin trafficking operation that involved both French and American smugglers. A record 112 pounds of heroin were seized by law enforcement. In 1969, this particular drug bust would become the subject of a book entitled The French Connection by Robin Moore. Just 2 years later, the book would be made into a movie of the same name, a film that would go on to be ranked as one of the greatest of all time. One of the reasons this movie received such intense praise was due to a groundbreaking car chase that occurs towards the end of the movie. Unlike other car chases in prior films that took place on closed roads, the one in The French Connection took place in the heart of New York City rush hour traffic, making the chase feel incredibly realistic. Even after 51 years, this chase continues to be ranked as one of the greatest in all film. Over 20 years later, a then little-known company by the name of DMA Design was working on a game called Race and Chase, where the player controlled a police officer pursuing criminals. However, it was determined that this concept lacked innovation, and over time it would evolve into a crime-based game known as Grand Theft Auto. But what exactly inspired this change? Well, I actually got into contact with the creative director of DMA Design during the period when Grand Theft Auto was first released. Mr. Penn told me that the game's evolution was primarily from collating reference material from films containing classic car chases, and he listed The French Connection as a primary influence. In the words of Gary Penn, Grand Theft Auto came to be largely because of the movie The French Connection. Well, there you have it. World War II created intense fears of communism, causing the United States to pay off mafia members, unintentionally facilitating the explosion of their drug smuggling operation, leading to the then biggest heroin seizure by police, a case documented in a book, adapted into a movie, and said movie containing a groundbreaking car chase responsible for evolving Race and Chase into Grand Theft Auto. Concrete, historical proof that Grand Theft Auto is a direct result of World War II. But wait, there's more. What if I told you World War II caused something bigger than one of the best-selling video game franchises of all time? Sounds impossible, right? But all we have to do is follow the causation chain just a little further. Grand Theft Auto was a commercial success and led to many subsequent sequels. In 2007, it had been 3 years since the release of GTA San Andreas, so fans were anxiously anticipating the release of another main entry into the series. Rockstar Games would release a trailer for Grand Theft Auto 4 on their website, but the overwhelming traffic of users flocking to the site ended up crashing it. Fans were unsurprisingly infuriated and desperately searched for other websites to view the trailer on. Various helpful users on the online image board website 4chan would post links to other places to view the trailer, but one 4chan user would use this as an opportunity to post a link to something else. Hopeful GTA fans eagerly clicked on the link, and were instead greeted with this unforgettable video.
We're no strangers.